Now, just the march is where you want to start. After you start the march, you're warming up the blood to send it through the body so that you'll know exactly that your muscles are ready for this exercise. First thing you want to do before you start to move your arms along with the march is you want to lift your rib cage. You want to take your pelvic forward just a touch because this muscle is from the pelvic bone to the rib cage. It's the smartest muscle on your body. It extends up, supports your spine. It encases all the other elements of your body and keeps them safe but builds them strong. Now what you want to do is lift your shoulders, elbows, and start to push your fingertips forward very lightly when you first start. You don't want to put a lot of motion into the action when you're first beginning because you're warming up. As soon as we get into the exercise a little bit, then you can put a little more force, but right now you don't want to injure any of the tendons or ligaments around the deltoid muscle. So you're just going forward gently. As you go forward, then you want to take your fingertips and point them up. As you're going up, you remember that your rib cage is lifted to encase your abdomen tightly into your spine because your spine needs the abdomen to support it, but you also want to have a flat stomach. So as you flatten this abdomen, strengthen it up, it supports your spine to keep you standing taller. And you have to remember that as you get older, whether you like it or not, your body will start relaxing a little bit. So you're in charge of your body. You take the abdomen up, you set it in place, and you tell it exactly what you want it to do because your body will respond to whatever you tell it to do. So even before you begin this exercise, you want to be thinking of how straight you want your back to be. You want to focus on things that are straight, and each time you look at them, you remember that that's where you want your spine to be. Then you start pushing forward again, as if you're pushing the wall away from you. Now you can put a little bit more effort into this exercise because you've already warmed up slightly. As you push forward, you're still remembering to lift those ribs, hold the ab in, and push the pelvic forward just a touch. And after you do these abdomens and loosen up your deltoids, now you want to start pushing down. You want to push down to get the force to push into the muscle of the chest and underarms. There are a lot of different muscles involved here, so you want to warm up the entire body, keeping a march going so that the blood's flowing, as well as keeping your ribs lifted, holding the abdomen in. As soon as you get through pushing down, you want to go back to the forward thrust a little bit more and add about 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Now what you want to do is start to push your body forward by extending your arms, pushing your fingertips forward, and adding your toes. As you're doing this, you want to lift your chest up higher, which will extend the abdomen, hold in the lower abdomen, pushing the pelvic forward, and pushing your toes straight forward. As soon as your toes are adjusted to this movement and being careful to stay in place, keep your body in a straight line, you want to take your feet back underneath your shoulders so that you're always in balance. The abdomen supports your spine. The balance is where your feet go. And then you can start pushing your feet into a heel motion, but keeping the arms straight forward. You're still marching, you're still lifting your ribs, and you're holding the abdomen in. After you hold the abdomen in a while, your feet are going forward to its heel, and you can change back and forth actually from the toe to the heel. Now we're going to take a swing to the side. And after we're going to the side, what you want to do is take your toe along with your arms, always keeping in mind that your ribs are lifted, abdomen is held in, pelvic is forward. After your fingertips go to the side as well as your toes, you can start extending your elbows up. Each one of these movements is very important to give your body the elasticity it needs in each and every muscle. And as you're marching, the blood is flowing, giving it an easier motion. After you're to the side with your toes and your elbows, you can repeat it from the elbows back to the arms. You can actually start to do a tip motion, keeping in mind that you're always lifting up the rib cage, holding in the abdomen, supporting your spine and lower abdomen. And your toes now are extended to the side. You can actually push down into it, push down into the ground, and extend your toe up. Along with this movement, you can start to reach. Don't reach too high at first. You're still just on a warm-up. So you're just going to reach diagonally all the way up. And at first, when you first start reaching, it's just a slight move. Now, as you've been reaching a few moments, you can start to push your arm up into your fingertips and start to stretch the toe over to the side. Again, your ribs are lifted, abdomen's tight, pelvic is pushed forward just a bit. Now you can start to push your forward arm into a reach. This is going to start to extend your back into a stretch. And as you're doing this, it's very important to remember that there's a lower abdomen on your body. You want to tuck it in. So send that lower abdomen back behind you to your backbone and reach to the forward. As we're reaching forward, now we can start to do a little bit more on a march. So you want to start a march a little bit higher this time. You want to take your knees higher, push your hands into a fist. Remember your ribs are lifted, hold that ab in, and push the pelvic forward. As you start this march, you're going to start to lift a knee up just a little bit. You lift it up, again. What you want to do with your foot is flex it. Push the knee up. This is a hip flexor right here. The hip flexor on the top of your leg, you want to utilize that to bring and lift the knee up. So this is the hip flexor right underneath your hips. You use this muscle to pull your knee and your leg up high. You can keep your motion going forward or a downward motion. Either one. If your arms are a little bit tired, you'll want to keep the downward motion. As you do this, you can actually incorporate a toe. Push the toe. Now you're stretching out the lower part of your leg. You keep it with the hip flexor. Your abdomen is lifted. Your ribs are high, and your lower abdomen is supporting the back of the spine. And after you're doing one, you can add a double. So there's 2 and 2. Put a little mark on it. You can tap or do it a little slower. A little slower. Depends how much motion you have in your legs. And if they're too tired, just bring it up slightly. You don't even need to leave the floor. You can put your toe right on the ground and push your hands down into your knees. As we do this, we want to start with the toe touch. Now bring it up. You're getting your triceps and biceps all loosened up. Your deltoids are already free and they're ready. Your ribs are lifted, and as soon as your ribs are lifted, it's incorporating the muscle in this abdomen to support your whole spine. The core is very important. Hold it right there. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now right about this time I have a march going, and usually I'll have a 5-pound weight or a 10-pound weight that I will pick up. As you pick up those weights, you'll keep the march going, and now you're putting a little bit more pressure. You'll pull up, push down, lift. Okay, now but first when we started, we were just loosening up. So I just gently said, put your hands up to your deltoid. But as we pick up these 5-pound weights, we want to force them into the chest using all the ligaments and tendons right around the top part of the deltoid, which is right through here. You pull it up and down. This is called the upward row.